G'day, welcome back to the lab. Day 21 of COVID-19 lockdown in New Zealand. It's not particularly nice today, bit cold. I can't be bothered going out in the main workshop there and churning away doing things on the Gloria. Not right now, I'll do something later on. But I just thought some of you might be interested in what's hiding in the other shed. We showed this just briefly earlier on. It's my wife's 1997 Z32 300ZX with VG30 DETT power. So let's have a wander around and have a look at that beastie. So yeah, as I said, 1997. Hasn't actually been on the road for a little while. Came off the road just before we had our little girl, who's now 3 1/4. So that's the last time it was actually registered to be on the road. It's sort of a tidy car in most respects. A little bit untidy in some areas. You can see this front panel that's been repainted at some point in time, and they've done a terrible job. I can't actually make any of that flake off, but as you can see, it's quite scratched just from my fingers, so that's not good. And also the bonnet's a bit manky, but other than that, it's actually not a bad car, and it looks to have original paint pretty much everywhere. So we purchased this car from a chap called Matt from the New Zealand 300ZX Owners Club, and he was, I think, looking to make it into a race car and had started pulling it apart, and as some projects do, ran out of puff, steam, money, ambition, whatever, motivation, and it stopped. So we got the car, it had the front guards on it, and it had the bonnet on it, but pretty much everything forward of there, that was all missing. So we went with the late model Xenon, people call them 2K spec headlights. So these were on the JDM market, Z32s for the 1999/2000. Yeah, I think some of these cars were actually sold in 2001, just a couple. Not entirely certain. Certainly 99 and 2000. That's a Stillen nose panel, genuine Stillen nose panel. We had one of those for my blue car as well. In fact, I think I did have one of those in stock and sold it not so long ago. And it's a genuine JDM 99/2000 spec front bumper on there as well. And of course the lights that go on there, and the spotlights are actually in good condition for once. Normally these cars, you'll see the little plastic trim will be missing off the side of one of the spotlights at least. Both of these are in good shape, so that's quite nice, quite good. We've got 18-inch DTM caliber wheels on there that have been repainted by myself. They started looking a little bit shabby, so we tidied those up. We've got Michelin Super Sports on there. That one's looking a little bit soft, if I'm honest. It's probably needs a bit of air, and the car probably needs rolling around a little bit. So 9-inch wheels on the front and 10 on the back, I think. So they fit quite nicely. We've done the 2K spec tail lights on there as well. So, and the center panel to match. So it's all looking pretty swish. Full. Oh, are we even going to see it? Let's have a look down there. Full custom stainless steel exhaust system by the lab. Myself built all that. Probably can't see it much. It's got nice sound to it anyway. And my wife ordered in a genuine Momo steering wheel for it, and she also purchased a full leather kit for the seats and did all that herself. Actually pulled it all apart and recovered all the seats to make them look lovely. Sorry, I've got rubbish sitting in there, haven't I? Well, it's not rubbish, but we've got a new plenum for the car, which probably shouldn't be sitting on that leather seat. I better move that before we have some damage done there. That's due to go in the car shortly. She's done the leather handbrake lever and everything, actually. So those of you who drive the older 300ZXs, you might be interested in the differences inside here. None, that's the same. And then over there, manual air conditioning controls. That's the biggest difference on the inside of the car. Everything else is same. You know, they didn't change anything really. colour of the trim and the type of carpet and all that sort of carry on. It had a lighter, less, that's just dust and dirt and crap from hitting the window, less plush carpet in them from 96 onwards, I think, trying to reduce weight and costs and all that sort of carry on. God, look, we've got a spider living in here. This thing needs a clean, something chronic. So we actually pulled all that out and we put carpet in, good condition carpet from a earlier 89 model car to make it somewhat better. So, oh, that's the other thing that's different from the earlier ones. You don't have your seat belts on the doors. So I think it's about 94 or 96, something like that. They swapped across. Seatbelts now on the B pillar inside the car, which is a bit better. They still do have a rubbishy return spring on them though. They've never been that crash hot. I'm going to trip myself up here and try and open the bonnet while I'm holding the camera. This will be a challenge. Oh, we're doing all right. I might get there. So, one-handed magic. So in there we've got, obviously those are the Z1 charge pipe silicons, stock size plumbing on it. We haven't gone for the bigger intercoolers or turbos or anything like that. It was actually an auto car. We have converted it to a manual. So there's a clutch master in here now that didn't used to be there. Changed the couple of fittings on here to suit that sort of stuff. So we don't have the boosted clutch master cylinder that you have on a proper twin turbo manual car, so we don't have a vacuum port on here. We do have a lot of corrosion starting underneath the paint, unfortunately. This was all painted quite nicely, but after years of sitting around, it's done its dash, it's all coming off, so there's a bit of work to tidy things up under here. We've got the custom radiator overflow tank sitting up there by the battery. That's something I designed and made numerous versions of that over the years, and a company sold them the designs that they could manufacture those and get them on the market relatively cheap. God, like, this thing's been in a garage. How do you get leaves in there when it's been sitting in a garage? So never mind. It probably is going to start. I do keep the battery charged, so flick the key for you. We'll see if it runs. It'll have a fuel leak, because that's what 300ZXs do when you leave them sitting around. The fuel hoses go all crappy. Let's see what happens, eh? Why'd we zoom in there, Fo? What's going on? Have a look at the dash then. We've got power. That's alright, isn't it? Got oil pressure. It's alright. Not bad. I think the last time that was started was a couple of weeks ago when some plonker was arguing about how the airflow system works, the air intake system on a 300ZX. Just trying to tell everyone that these pipes here have got vacuum when the car's idling, which clearly they don't, because if they had vacuum on that and I pushed that in, it would try and stay there, wouldn't it? So anyway, this trouble with 300ZXs, they attract a lot of enthusiasts who aren't actually proper mechanics, and they argue with the proper mechanics, but never mind. So there you go. I can't leave that running too long or I'll gas myself out. Not a bad sound. Not a bad sound at all. But turn that off. There you go. That's probably the worst thing you can do for one of these things. Start and run it for 2 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll open the door and run it a little bit later on. So there you are. That's the other thing that we've got hiding around here. How many of Z32 fans have we got kicking around out here? Forgot to mention, this one's actually got a Link G4 Plus 300ZX plug-in ECU. We think it's probably like one of the very first ones fitted. we did a just a quick pin-out check and everything to make sure everything was good. Put it in the car and started it up and created a bass tune. So I'm pretty sure every 300ZX plug-in ECU that's sold from Link is actually a tune that was in this very car as the bass tune to make your 300ZX run. So it'll be a little bit different because the injector size is a bit different on these, and they run a slightly different crank angle sensor, and even the throttle position sensor is slightly different. So there'll be a whole heap of things. That's one they use on Nissan Maximas and stuff like that. There'll be a whole heap of things that won't be quite right for your 89 300ZX or non-turbo or whatever, but you know, it's enough that you can get it in there and the car will start, and then you just adjust your base fuel overall, and away you go. So there you go. I might show you something else later on. I'm sure we got something else kicking around that you haven't seen that you might want to look at. So, right, cheers guys, bye.